Hey guys, it's Tats here from Castagra, and really didn't want to do this video. I've shared this with my close friends and our close team members in our company, and yeah, it's a little personal, and some people know about this, but someone reminded me why I'm doing these videos. The point of me doing these videos is to help people. And if this can help one person, anybody, sort of overcome this, then I guess my pain and discomfort of sharing this is nothing compared to that. So anyways. So August 21st, 2018, I was in Victoria on vacation, visiting family. And I was in the hotel, life was good, and I was reaching down to tie my shoelaces, and I felt a pain in my stomach. And I didn't know what it was. I had no idea, and but it was concerning me because it's just a minor ache. It kind of really hurt. So when I got back from my trip, I went to the doctors and asked the doctor what it was, and her diagnosis was that you have some minor injury there internally, and some minor optional surgery if you want to fix that, and it'll go away. And I mean, I'm sort of have a bit of a background in health, and I knew that whenever you start down the path of surgery, it's kind of the beginning of that horrible downward trajectory. And deep inside, I kind of knew what the problem was. I was 252 pounds. I mean, when I was reaching down, my belly was compressing against my chest. And when you have that, you carry that much weight around, you basically start to have problems. And this was the start of bigger problems to come. And I really had to sit back and think what I have been doing in terms of my health. I've been an entrepreneur for over 2 decades, and I'm extremely embarrassed to say my degree was in human kinetics. I was a personal trainer for a period of time, a tennis coach. I ran a fitness facility. I should know better. One of the things I've conveniently ignored, being in human kinetics doesn't make you a diet expert, was that diet is extremely important. I've always conveniently convinced myself, because I'm a foodie. I mean, how many of you out there are foodies? That if I exercise enough, then I can eat what I want. But deep inside, I know that's not true. But I allowed myself to think that way because I like food. I like, sushi. I like Italian food. Food is fantastic. It's something I look forward to. It helped me de-stress. It was something I did. And, I've run marathons before. I've done stuff for my health. But as I grew older and your metabolism came down, I just slowly started to let it slip, bit by bit by bit, to a point where I was embarrassingly overweight. And not just from how I look, but just at a point where it was starting to really affect my health. So that was a big realization for me. And at that point, I had to decide, if I'm gonna let this affect my life long term. I have young kids. Deep inside I knew it was I was huffing and puffing. I was playing with them. But when you're in sort of a bubble, and I was happy, generally, you're kind of finding ways to ignore it. But I just kind of came face to face with it, and I had to do something. So I started wearing new. I started exercising slowly. I knew I've done exercise programs before, and some of them have lasted, long periods of time. But whatever, it would derail when I get sick or go on vacation. So I needed a better plan. I needed a system that was maintainable in the long term. So I started by doing exercise slowly, day by day, something that I can maintain every day. Because I found that when I was doing exercise 3 days a week, and I would get sick or I'd have work and I'd miss a day, then 2 days a week is not enough to make an impact. So I was trying to do it every single day, and I was. And then I slowly, this is painful, started to cut out bad food in the diet. I started to cut out juices. I started to cut out desserts. Now, this didn't come overnight. I mean, I'm just resisting it every step of the way. It's extremely painful. I'm giving up food that I love, but I'm starting to understand that this is a non-negotiable. And I have to somehow power through it. And I start to understand diet better, the type of food I should be eating, bring in experts that I didn't want to bring in before to give me advice. I slowly start making the changes. And I found, the fear, the procrastination I had was totally unfounded. I found on the other side of, for me, fear, because I was just, it's such a change, right? And you're just thinking that you're missing out on something and you can't do it, and you're just coming up with tons of excuses. There was something awesome and wonderful on the other side. There was, you're not, you don't feel bad after you eat too much food. You're like, that guilt that you feel after. You're not sort of retracting, because I'm a bit of an introvert. So you're retracting because you don't feel good or you don't look good. So you're not a social. You're not. I definitely didn't want to do these videos before, and now I'm at a point that I can do it. All these benefits start to come out of play, and you start to realize that the thing that you were avoiding was the thing that could take you to the next level, that could sort of unlock other areas. Because once I realized I could flip the script and put diet first and put the exercise component as a supporting measure, even when I got sick, even when I went on holiday, even when I was sort of busy with work, I was able to manage the diet side and keep it going. And it was a real eye-opener for me, and it sort of inspired me to start to say, okay, if I tackle this one thing, what other areas in my life I'm not addressing? So I started to really deconstruct some of the long-held areas that I was sort of pushing myself away from. For another area that I didn't necessarily like, and I always outsourced, was the writing area. And also I wanted to start a podcast, but I was kind of hesitant on that. So I was learning to be more effective that way, or through video. It just opened up a whole realm. And when you think about entrepreneurship, and when you think about wellness, a lot of times it's hard to put the correlation between the two together, because there's just always so much to do. There's so much pressure to bring in revenue, to be successful, and also sort of the pressure in sort of around you, because you don't want to fail, and you're thinking about all these things you have to accomplish. But Wellness is the foundation to that. If you're feeling good, if you're healthy, if your mind is working well, it lays the foundation of everything that comes after it. And I for one, made it more of a core function of who I am and what I need to do to show and progress long term. We've made it a big part of our company. I've done my best to help people that are interested in what I've done, and I found the impact it has on people and myself has been significant. So I encourage you, if you're an entrepreneur and if you're in a situation you're running ragged, you have so many things to do and you haven't taken care of yourself, don't run into a situation that I did. I was lucky, I caught it early, and then to date I've lost 80 pounds and I feel great. And I just I was happy before, but I didn't imagine how much happier and how much more motivated and how many more things I could do when I became healthy. And if you can find a way to sort of take my sort of small story and sort of use that as a guiding point and at least try it, I'm confident you're going to find that there's going to be something much greater and much more fulfilling and rewarding long term on the other side of that fear to change. Anyways, I wish you the best of luck in your journey, and feel free to reach out if you have any questions.